bi kar začel, da ne bo se to tako vleklo, bom jaz najprej po slovensko, kaj Pogovor začel. Potem pa bi vas prosil, seveda, da pomagate pri tem pogovoru. Ta film smo pravzaprav dobili v selekcijo ali v ogled že pred letom in pol. In to v verziji brez angliških podnapisov. In smo se nekako odločili, da bi film predvajali. Jaz se opravičujem, jaz sem gledal film samo pred letom in pol v nemščini, ki je ne razumem. Tako da tega filma z podnapisi nisem mogel sploh gledati, ker si prišel šele malce nazaj, morda en teden nazaj šele. In seveda sem potem kontaktiral režiserko in jo nagovarjal, da bi bila na sporedu, da bi bil film predan že lani. In je seveda začela delati na podnapisi in potem javila, da je čisto mogoče, da bi ona naredila tako hiter angliške podnapise. Potem je to trajalo in seveda do zadnjega tudi letos nismo vedeli, ali bomo film sploh imeli z angliškimi podnapisi ali ne, ampak zdaj so verjetno bili, ne. In film sedaj, ko je podnaslovljen, tudi potuje po drugih festivalih. I'll just explain the story about the film that we wanted to show 2 years ago or last year. There was no subtitles and so on. So let's start first with the question, why did you decide to make this collage after almost 30 years? Why you didn't do it before already? Why now?
Yeah, this was 91 till 93, and so this was sleeping in my office all the years and years and years, and I'd take care of it and take care of it. Nobody was really interested. They were more interested because I did also other important things, like women cafes, nightclubs for women. This was a hard, not hard, but very exciting time, the women's movement in this time after the 68, 70, 80s, 90s. We had still these lady-only places. And you saw it also. We collected all the women, not all, but many women places which don't exist anymore. Do you have here in Ljubljana a women's place, ladies only? Where you meet? Or where you dance? Once in a month?
There was some the place near.
What you said here nearby. There was
Monocle, it's another club, which is it was or it is the lesbian club, and there were some women-only nights, but very rare.
Yeah, and this was also in the time when we started this, we had no things for men. Also nobody saw what we did in the lesbian movement, in the lesbian clubs. We had our newspapers there, so it was not something where we went out really. Only newspapers or, yeah, once in a month, every third month was a newspaper, and this was the first time this television that we showed it for everybody. So that was very new. That everybody, we had 200,000 people looking each magazine in this time. So this was very new and exciting to show this. And then we got a foundation to make digitalize it. And so we decided to make 100 minutes out of it, which was very hard and very, how to have a lot of responsibility, what we take in and what we cannot take in longer than 100 minutes. Veronika Minder is also one of the protagonists here. She comes always to Berlinale Film Festival. She showed also some years ago Katzenball, the first lesbian documentation in Switzerland. Veronika Minder. We came here together. Yeah. What can I say? And why I did it now? Because I like too much these old times, and I like to talk about the old times. It was so great, so much power, so much movement also, and I miss it so much. That's why I want to support it, to make again a kind of a women's lesbian movement. In the queer movement, we need this very, very much. So that's why I'm traveling around and talking about it, and still want to do something now. On Saturday I will be 70 years old, and I want to make something nice with the rest of my life with it.
Maybe you can explain something, explain how you come to Berlin, why you started to you had also, you were more or less organizers of several things, of nightclub, art center. You were also, for this lesbian TV, you were more or less organizer, not director.
Yeah.
And also after we never did anything with the cinema anymore.
No, I'm not a film director in that way. But now I am, after all this time. No, I just was the organizer, because I organized my whole life a lot of stuff, and Rosa von Braunheim did also a gay magazine, men magazine, 3 months, and he asked me, oh, would you like to organize also lesbian television in 91? And of course, I can organize a lot of things because I can connect people, and camera woman, montage, light woman, sound woman, and a lot of political activists who like to do something in this time. And I still do. I'm still working for lesbian visibility, and I don't give up. Now again, because normally I have an agency for artists, more musicians, but dancers, art, all kind of art. And now I mix it also with the lesbian television. This is a little bit a spagat. Here is the Africa Festival, very conservative, and then I make the bridge to make lesbian visibility. So even if I am so many times and so long in the lesbian movement, it was a big step also, because I have now this lesbian television refreshed, to mix it with my rest of my life, with mixing all the cultures of that planet with music. And I came to Berlin. You asked me why I came to Berlin, because of love. Because I was in love with half a year with a woman from Frankfurt. I'm coming from Frankfurt am Main, and then she was living in Berlin, and after half a year we decided to live together. That's why I am in Berlin, very easy, normal way. And I was working always in squatted houses, like this is also a squatted house, Brane explained me. And there I organized women cafes in squatted houses, and even also then in Berlin, again in squatted houses, women cafes, and then Pelzer Multimedia, old shop, which was a first shop, Pelzer first, where I met Aprilia. It was a place with a night cafe, women in art and discussions, and I had the idea to make sexuality as a normal communication. So it was a place where you can have sex here, you can drink a beer there, you can talk there something, or you can make a game, like a billiard game here. And the whole place was full of art, like exhibition and films and poetry, etc. Each day another program, sometimes 2 programs in one evening. It was really a hot time. Aprilia can say that also, and Veronica was also there because she came always to Berlinale Film Festival, and then she had fun with the girls and women in Pelze. So that was a very beautiful idea, and I'm still very much interested to support female sexuality, like I did in the 80s and 90s, and I opened my mouth here and there, get some awards because I opened my mouth to make female sexuality normal, or that we know more about female sexuality. Even men don't know much about sexuality, and we still have a long way to go with this. That's why is my wonderful aging program Sexuality. That's why I have a poster here. You can also have one, and I have some magnets for your fridge with my wonderful aging program Sexuality. Because I want also that older people, not only lesbians, also the gays and the straight people, everybody, that we have an age with attraction and fun and lust, and if you don't call it sexuality, but don't let the libido sleep till we go to the other side. That's my slogan. Because mostly older people, oh, they have some problems and this, and then they are not anymore this mainstream idea of how you have to look. And so I want to support a nice older, to be old, together with young people, of course.
Maybe you can also tell us about any differences of lesbian life in Berlin in the 90s and today. So are there still so many lesbian places, or is a little bit decreasing? Why do you think it is, or lesbians become not so visible, or?
That happened all in West Berlin. And we had East Berlin, we know that. West Berlin was an isle in the GBR. So it was only by airplane or 3 hours, or I've forgotten, 3 hours with a lot of control, you can go to West Berlin. That so many artists, many homosexual, gay scene, queer scene were there, and people who don't want to go to military. So if you live there, you don't go to the military. So we had a lot of art and cheap rents, and the night was open. It was the only town in Germany where you don't have to pay something if you have a bar in the night. You have to pay something extra. So in Berlin we had the whole night clubs and fun and people in the streets. And what was the question? Okay, and we had a lot of women bars. And when the wall came down, and not only women bars, we had 3 galleries, only lesbian, only women only. And we had 3 bookshops, and we had 3 restaurants and cafes and meeting places and nightclubs. So 44 altogether, I collected that one day. And then the wall came down and the rent was higher and higher. Many people couldn't pay her rent anymore, and so less and less ladies-only places were coming, and we have only one ladies-only cafe or culture place in Berlin. And this is not only in Berlin, we have in the whole world not many lesbian places or women places anymore. That's really a pity, and we all don't know why this happened, that women are not so interested to have that anymore. I'm very sad about that, and yeah, that's it. But I can also... But we have a big Dyke March also. We started 8 years ago with some women, and now we are 8,000 people, women and their friends, as a Dyke March. And I want to support it also that you make your Dyke March also in Ljubljana. Did you think about that? And did you hear about Dyke Marches? Julio Abrega. Started a Dyke March in Ljubljana.
Yes, me. Because we talk in Zagreb, in Croatia, that we need, and also with Austria, that we need to prepare just like march. That it's necessary.
Dajte kaj vprašati.
Mahide, you were when we meet in '88 in Berlin, in Paris, Gallery Paris. You was the biggest performer also, an artist, and that art it's for you expression all the time, and that you support art all the time, and that you make a lot of very fantastic performance. Because when I come to Berlin, I was studying in Academy for Arts in Ljubljana for paintings, and when I saw this famous woman and lesbian, all of you was full of energy, of some special performer. For me was surprised, you know, that you invite me, and that later in 1991 you invite me also to be part of scene, Pogovarja, with parents. If you when in East Berlin was with a Baumeister and 20 out artists there was invited also. But I just want to say that you were everywhere first, and that you at this time that you really was high of position for lesbian international, and I really feel wow, you know, you are also my inspiration for everything, for opening also Berlin, opened me lesbian scene. Also I promoted in '88 lesbian camp in Yugoslavia, if you remember. Yeah. Yes, and because Roswitha and in Paris was everything this. I was so of energy too, and then I come back and really opened me and Heidi Kohl. So a lot of women which I saw, I remember for this time, Ira, Heidi Kohl.
Thank you, Brane. It's this idea.
Because it's a lot of famous lesbian here, which you cooperate, and there was really also a political lesbian and also artist. So it's fantastic, the Brane Lein and your film documentary here to Slovenia. And also I want to say to you, I saw the insert from Croatia, and from Croatia,
yes, okay.
Because every woman asked, also my friends asked me for this insert. It's very important when it was start war in ex-Yugoslavia, in Balkan, and I saw now that you have this insert when they put down, because it was crazy. And so really I think women from Croatia and from Serbia, it's very important what you filmed. All of the documentary will be fantastic, because you change and you have this really history documentary of lesbian, and also for women how they change in the world, that women need to be connected together, not with the border. Thank you, Mahide, that you come and that we know each other. Hvala.
Yeah. I didn't see us all the time. We have a little bit Facebook contact, but not much. And now we see us again all this long time ago. So, please say something.
Yes, I was wondering, because you have posters, so you're also making a performance on this topic.
No, I don't make performances, but I go now to vocal lessons and I sing now also. I start to sing. Normally I'm a manager for singers and musicians, and now I start also to sing. But I'm not really a performer. You see it like that. It's my whole life is a performance, yes. Something like that. I'm a performer daily life, and not. Okay, I can go on stage and I have some ideas also to say so, but I wouldn't say I'm a performer. I'm more an organizer, an activist, and a human rights supporter. Later.
I have a question right now, so maybe ask somebody else.
Well, it must not be a question, it can be a statement.
First I want to comment, I also agree it's a very precious document of historical events. I was wondering if you could maybe explain how was the situation before the Berlin Wall fell in the eastern Berlin, or how it's changed. Do you know how people were there? Like how lesbians were? What was the situation in eastern Berlin?
In eastern Berlin, before the wall came down, how was the situation for lesbians there? Well, they met, I'm from West Berlin, I don't know so much, I only saw also, I came later then, together with them, and they met in so-called churches, clubs or so, lesbian and gays, and they had in normal restaurants or bars, they had a corner to meet, but not a really place for them. I don't know so much about it, sorry.
It was said in the lesbian TV, in the movie, that there are no lesbian jokes, or they couldn't come up with any. Do you maybe know any now? Huh? Do you know any lesbian joke now? After so many years.
That's a nice question, I don't know. Yeah, Shannon Sawyer, we both, me and I am the woman with the long hair, maybe you can see that still. We made the words between the parts of the magazine, and she had the idea with I have one female joke. What I always say when a joke must be said, I have one female joke. It's not a lesbian joke, but in a way we can say lesbians when I mix the lesbian word inside. Do you want to hear it? Okay, two lesbian vampires go to a bar. Normally it's just two women. Okay, two lesbians go to a bar and they sit, they're always going in the same bar. And then one woman said, one glass of hot water, and the other said, hey, what are you now? Not anymore like our family, vampire family. You drink hot water? What is it? And she drink a beer, and so wait, the first lesbian said, just wait till the water is coming, I show you. Oh, this was very exciting. What does she do with the hot water? And then the hot water came, and the woman take place in her cunt, put out a tampon and said, it's tea time, it's tea time. That's the only joke that I know.
Great joke, thank you a lot. Maybe what wasn't open up in the discussion and what got my interest is that I've noticed there was a lot of issues with racism in those years as well?
What?
With racism in those years as well, which I didn't know, I didn't follow that much of history in Berlin. And how do you compare these situations from those early 90s to how the situation is nowadays, considering there was a lot of change of thought and hearts towards the lesbian community, maybe gay community, and maybe some others as well? How do you see this migration issues from now and through eyes of the early 90s as well?
About the racism?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, many people like very much that we have so many women, black women in the programs, because this was also not so normal. And when we go here walking in Ljubljana, we didn't see one black person. So this is very strange for me, because in Berlin and other parts of the world we see so many black people. I don't know where they are here. Maybe I'm just my first day today and I don't really know. Well, through the American military and some students from Africa and the black soldiers from USA who were Alliierte. Was heißt denn Alliierte, Veronika?
Allies. Allies from the Second World War.
Yes, we had the USA and British and French and Russian allies. And so we had some black children there, and they were very discriminated in school and everything, and many women put their black child somewhere because it was also a hard time for her to have a black child. And then we had author from USA, a black American called Audre Lorde, who came very often to Berlin and made poetry workshops and supported lots of black female women. And the black women movement started a lot there, and we had a really hard discussions with the black and the white lesbians and women. I brought also from Audre Lorde some very nice, if somebody wanted, it's our visions begin with our desires. It's from Audre Lorde, you can also have one. So that was a strong time with the black lesbians who supported. We're supported now with this movement, and we had so many discussions, and I learned a lot, because we haven't also known how difficult it was to grow up as a black person in Germany after the Hitler time. And still here, I think also maybe same, I don't know. Is it okay, or do you want to know more? Or is it okay? Even photographers can say something.
I didn't watch the movie.
You didn't move? Ah, okay.
So sorry.
We have also a website, it's called LAESBISCH-TV.de. You can get also some information there.
There you are.
Ah,
Maybe you can explain, but what was this with, I mean, why is lesbisch spelled with in the lesbian TV? Because I didn't catch the beginning of the movie, so I don't know.
Why we say,
Because otherwise it's spelled in German with an E or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like in English also with an E, lesbisch, with E. And there is also a lot of discussion with the lesbian movement. The word lesbe, in German lesbe, is not so good sound. Homosexual woman sound better, isn't it? so we had also the discussion if we call us homosexual woman or lesbe. And lesbe doesn't sound so well. Many lesbians don't like the word lesbian. I don't know, dyke is more courage, more strong, something, dyke, yeah. But lesbian is something not so, it has also something like a discrimination in it, or not so powerful in this patriarchat, isn't it? And that's why we said extra, you know, okay, we say the word lesbisch, but with lesbisch, like, to support something like that, you know, like also, I can show you also something, and maybe I make it without the microphone, or you hold it. And during I talk, because also another, like lesbisch, is also something like discriminated, and the women in Italy, when we started in the 70s, many Italian men said something like, you fucking cunt, like dirty cunt or something like that. And then the women in Italy, they put this up, and that's our lesbian sign also. Do you know this sign? Yeah. So to bring it up, same like lesbian and lesbisch, to make it very powerful. That's the idea of, we have an A with 2 points, A with 2 points, like lesbisch. Veronica said also something. You know the time of lesbian television and pencil?
For me it was like the first time, or the second time I came to Berlin, it was still, it was the Pogovor.
The wall came down.
The wall came down, so I was so, a lot of walls for me who came down, also visiting Pelzen.
I really like the humor in your television series, even if you don't have any jokes. I would just like to ask you, how did women across Germany could see? Was it broadcasted on the TV, or was it like, how was that? And was there any censorship because of the naked bodies and sexuality and so on?
Two very good questions. Yeah, we had one censor because you saw the woman with one leg, and she normally we were also in, okay, I start different. This program was in the beginning, maybe nearly 1 year. We had it day and night 20 times during 1 month. Or in the beginning, 2 weeks. So many people saw it at a channel TV. Everybody can see if you have the 10 mark monthly paid for the channel. But many people had the channel because we had only 3 or so normal broadcastings. And then we had the idea to make copies with hard PAL cassettes, really hard, and a lot of money for Porto, no internet. And we gave these 20 cassettes to women and lesbian organizations in Deutschland, or also in German-spoken countries. That's why and we showed it also in Berlin in 2 other women places for ladies without channel, die kabellosen Damen. And we showed it also in 1 mixed club or cafe, so everybody can go in this cafe once in a month to see this screening also. And what was the second question?
Censorship.
Censorship. And then this 20 times during 1 month was always repeated somehow, together with the gay magazine. We were half and half gay magazine and lesbians, then we get no censorships day, and because we had also no tits or something like that, we were very feministic and so. And then, or it was not, but only when the woman with the 1 leg, then they saw with the tits, so there is a sexism of handicapped people, and then you get more. So looking to the tits when you see this 1 leg, And then we get a censorship, and we're only in the evening, not anymore in the daytime. Now?
I don't know what to ask. I would just like to say thank you. I really enjoyed the movie. My one thought was that you talk about history in the beginning of the 90s, about closing some clubs, which is something, I mean, it's really something we talk about now, closing the lesbian clubs, and this was one thing that I was thinking about. This was in the 90s. And another thing was, I was impressed by the big anti-racist demonstration, the big anti-right-wing demo, and this is also one thing that is really present now and should be, it should take place with all people, including lesbian people and everyone, I mean, connecting the struggles. That's all, like this.
Yeah, you know, this is really timeless what we did there. You can still see it, and it's still today very important. And Mr. Soundman, what is your idea? You checked the whole time, and you must also say something?
I still don't have the whole questions. Sorry.
But you had a statement, or how did you like it?
The parts I saw, because I didn't see the whole movie as a whole, I really enjoyed the variety of really broad spectrum of the activities and the movements and all the stuff you did. So it really like a refreshing look back into history.
I have a comment. So many people say always history, but you can say also history and her story in the future, isn't it? Aprilia, you will say something?
I'm interested for your wonderful aging program.
Good. How old are you now?
56.
56? Oh, you're still young.
No, I don't. Half price now for the film festival. So I come because I pay just half. We need to pay half price to go to the Kinoteca to look a film. But when I saw that now I pay just 50%, not all, for look a film in the Kinoteca. And it's great that I'm old, 56.
You pay half price because you are 56?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Half price.
You pay half price because of your age?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
They all laugh, it's not true.
No, it's true. If I go now to the film festival, the film festival, yeah, and tomorrow you will go, so you don't pay because you are actor.
Saturday.
Yeah, but I need to pay because I'm not, I need to pay half price, and it's good.
You need to pay.
I need to pay half price. So
You want to pay half price.
no,
You pay half price because you are 56.
I'm old person. I'm old person.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you pay full price.
But, yeah, so she paid 10 euros, but me pay 5 euros, and this is good for me.
Okay.
So I want to come. Lesbian
And
film.
why are everybody laughing?
Please?
Why do they laugh? Huh? It's not true.
No, it's true. That is his organizer.
From last year, we have discount for under 25 and up to 55.
Yeah. So maybe you don't pay nothing.
But there are so many rich older people.
But not here. But maybe they moved to Berlin. There are a lot of Slovenians in Berlin. You know that they have a special track, Slovenian track. Camion. On Gay Pride in Berlin. They don't have it in Ljubljana, but they have in Berlin. Yeah. Supported by a Slovenian embassy in Berlin. In Kabul. A to niste vedeli.
Ne.
To je zelo zanimivo in zelo slovensko. Slovenska ambasada je financirala slovenski tovornjak na paradi ponosa v Berlinu že lani in še predlani, če se ne motim. Za letos nisem čisto prepričan, ker so se menjali neki ambasadori, ampak skratka in vsi ti Slovenci in Slovenki, ki so pobiknili, ne, iz homofobne Slovenije, so potem tam veselo mahali in skakali po tem tovornjaku financirano. Kar seveda sploh ni bil majhen denar, to sploh ni smešno. To je moja skoraj pol budžeta našega filmskega festivala stalo. No, kakorkoli. I would like to ask also Veronica, because we have this special occasion to have also director from Switzerland. She didn't come to the screening of her film Katzenball. I don't remember how we translated the title. It was some years ago. I don't believe that somebody was in the cinema. How long ago?
It was
in which year it was made?
2005.
2000?
2005. That's long ago. Nobody remembers.
So this was very successful. Swiss documentary. She received a lot of prizes for this film. But I would like to ask you, because we are looking for Swiss films every year, is there any lesbian films in Switzerland? In any language?
Komm her.
Ja, ich mache das nicht gerne, ich bleibe hier sitzen. I'm not so fluent in English, and I am a little bit shy, and that's why I try to express with film or other media. And what was the question? The new films. There is a lot of new films, yes. I think more gay, and we were at the prize, not only the Canton of Bern, that was also very nice, a little bit gay film. Each year we have gay and lesbian and queer, and in the moment maybe the interest is very much on intersex people, because in Switzerland intersex people are babies are normally, like I think here, they are operated when they are very, very little, and the parents don't have many rights to say no, we don't want. And now we are going, there is we saw a very nice film. Was it with you? We saw the intersex film, no? There's a lot of fighting now. Maybe the big fights for lesbian and gays is over in Switzerland, because we can adopt, we can do a lot of things. We can have gay marriage already 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But I think there is other discriminated minorities, sexual or which are now the good and new and powerful films. Because about lesbian, you can look Orange is the New Black or all those things, which is on Netflix.
How big is the percentage of the festival? How many lesbian films you have in percentage of your festival?
We try. So, what can I say? That every year we had a lot of problems with lesbian films, and we tried to get in. So for the selection, a lot of lesbian films, and I remember that maybe. So we saw a little bit more than 100 films, and maybe lesbians there are 40, maybe. But the problem with lesbian films is that in percentage, they are not so good. This is the problem with lesbian films. Or they don't have enough of money. I don't know what is the problem, but really it is like this. That sometimes we just put also lesbian films which are not really good, just to have the stable with so gay, lesbian, and among how many 19 in the main program. And normally we do like this, that 6 gay films, 6 lesbian films, and 6 documentaries mixed, and then we have some trans and intersex, and then it's or less gay or less lesbian. But we are quite. It's not discrimination. But Simona can say something more from the other point, because she's also in. She worked with lesbian films, but it is a problem with the quality of lesbian films. This is really a big problem.
And the reason why is because women are not supported like men. They don't get. We have. Many students, but later when we want to have money for films, lesbian films and women films, then women don't get so much money than men. That's the problem. That's why I am here in this initiative, 15% to women in films, to support women films. And that's the reason. So sometimes we started also with 1 lesbian film and 50 gay films in the Teddy Berlinale Film Fest. And now it's better and better because more support for women foundations. Yeah? Is a filmmaker here under us? Are you making films? And you also say something about?
Maybe I say something about cultural borders, because I notice there is very much French films about lesbian issues, like the big one now in all the big cinemas. I don't know if it is also in Slovenia, from Selin Skiama. Is it?
Is it on the festival?
It's on the festival, so you see something very big, very great, that everybody goes. Oh, bravo, yeah. And what is the one we saw about Cuba was also very nice, the lesbian film.
He's saying you know something?
I just know that this year we have a nice film from Romania, a lesbian film from Romania. It's very nice, and the portrait of Lady on Fire, yes, which is also in the LIFE Festival. But yeah, it's true what Brane said. We had problems. I mean, there were not so many lesbian films to select from the amount of old films. And I also assume the problem is that women directors don't get as much funding for films. That's my assumption, and probably the truth.
I can say also a nice episode, because you say women films or the lesbian film are not as good. So, because because when I started lesbian television, I went in the office of Wieland Speck, who was the chef of Panorama section at Berlinale Festival, and I wanted to see, and I asked him, please show me the films what you don't take, lesbian films what he don't take. And there was also the film Transeltown, and it's the 60mm short film. You saw the part here, when the camera went to the uterus and you go in a fairy tale of freaky women who may have a nice party. You remember this part of the lesbian television? There's a camera goes in the uterus and then there comes another world with lots of freaky women. You forgot now, maybe you haven't seen it. So this was also a very, very good film, and Wieland zum Beispiel is a friend of mine. But he didn't like the film, and it was not so good in his eyes. But in my eyes, it was a very, very good film, and everybody was astonished why this film was not in the gay and lesbian part of the Berlinale Festival. So men have also another view to women films. Yeah? Even if they are nice men or queens or something, they don't know our view and our situation and our body and all this. And that's why women must be 50% also in the programmers and so.
I will explain this selection for this festival. So in the board there are gays, lesbians and also trans. So we can watch all films, but the first word decision is that for gay films, the decision of gay selectors, for lesbian film, lesbian selectors, and for trans selectors. So these are the last people who decide. Because normally we notice this, that there is a lot of gay films which got good opinion from lesbians, but not from gays, you understand?
Yeah.
And also I saw a lot of films, lesbian films, that I liked, but then the other part of the board said, no, this is not good. So now the final decision is for lesbian film, from lesbians.
Does someone has an idea of a lesbian film to do in the future? Are you inspired now to make your lesbian film? In a way? Just take a camera. Now it's so easy. Even if you film with a mobile handy, with a smartphone, you can make it in very good quality as a film screening. So don't be shy and just do it. This is a film. Yeah, you are also an artist and you made a lot of films. Do you make a film out of it? Or are you inspired now to make a lesbian film, to go to Berlinale?
I know, I'm an artist, lesbian artist. And this is this. And what I produce is art. And put to promotion in galleries or I don't know. It's not depends of my... I'm not, so I don't have a vision to make a good film, but I make a vision to make an artist film. So it's not important to be idea of, like your film, it's, you know, it's full of movement. And it's hard to see all of the documentary. But it's a lot of work. You said how many, so I can just hear from me one word, stupid, but okay, you know, come go from Ljubljana to Berlin, right? But it's good, I like, I don't know why, you know, but you cut a lot, Yeah. You cut a lot and it's fantastic. Because, but if you want to know everything what you film, so you have really a big documentation. And this is a short way, a little, very sympathetic way to represent history of
history and her story.
Yeah. So and you make a little joke, you know, and also the graphic. It's very short, very important for you, not documentary. And this is just cut. Yeah. But I think that you need a museum for your documentary, not film, not production in the Kinothek or yeah. But so yeah, you need museum for all of this history to remember her story, but it's very important. And you're very important, the commentary for lesbian her story. Yeah. Thank you.
Ah, you said her story. Good.
I think we can finish. So they can come on Saturday. Mahide and Veronica, they will officially open the festival, and we will all sing happy birthday to her.
Yeah, on Saturday, my birthday, 70. This is a big step.
On Saturday.
I'm a bit afraid 70 is very old already, and I don't have much time in this life to do something. And I also can say something like Brane told me just now, because he say, I don't believe it really, that he say everybody coming for this for the opening ceremony and the first film, and then the rest, not so many people come. So please can you change that? You come to all films, isn't it? Half price. So not only for the opening coming. And I'm still here till Monday afternoon, so you can talk to me and be with me, and so, yeah.